show. I'm one of your hosts, Manveer, and I'm joined by our awesome co-host, Petero. We have a special guest for you today, the new mayor of Fairfield, Cat Moy. Cat, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you both.
It's
an honor to be here. And this is the first time I've
to
seen
the
this,
studio?
what the city
Yeah,
and the college did together.
It was in
Yes.
construction for a while, for like a year, 2 years.
Wonderful.
You remember the city council when we all
Yes,
did
we
this,
did
and now
this,
you get
yes.
to see it come to fruition as our mayor.
Yeah, it's great. Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Our pleasure. I guess to start off with, it's still sort of early in the year.
Yes.
How were your holidays and how was your New Year?
It was, believe it or not, quiet. I'm the city, and all of us are still mourning the loss of Mayor Price after the election. Of course, he passed away before I was sworn in, and this Saturday is when we have his memorial services, and so it's been a little bit tricky. Moving into an office, I haven't even moved in yet because we had to, have his family come and get things. And he was in that office for 17 years.
Yeah.
So we really are looking forward to a wonderful Saturday talking about, and really more than featuring, because you can't even do that in 4 hours, what Harry Price did for this city, from teaching school to now. So as the mayor now, it's about letting people heal, the city heal, and also my colleagues. Some of them are very, very close to Harry.
Yeah.
Harry and I had a special relationship. We were not as close as some of the others, and because I'm a little bit more of a rebel, I'm more of an independent thinker. Yeah, more of an independent thinker, and also I speak what I'm thinking, and so sometimes that can get a person in trouble, especially politically. But and Harry was not that way. He was always a diplomat, always in reserve.
Yeah.
He would let us have it behind closed doors, which is where you should have it. But very different personalities, very different visions. When I vision cast, I think differently about Fairfield, I think, than he did. But we both love this city, and so we look forward to celebrating his life, not only here, but he was in the Army for 8 years and a veteran, and just a wonderful man. Really loved the arts.
Yes.
Yeah, the loss of Harry is definitely felt by many. Impacted tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands over the course of his career.
Oh, absolutely.
What's one of some of the fondest memories you have of him?
Oh.
Well, one of my favorite things is when we would go out to different activities, like showing a new business or, cutting the ribbon on something. And he was always game to try whatever it was. And there's this best picture, I should have brought it, with him sitting on this bike. It's a stationary bike, and he is so cute, and it makes me laugh out loud when I think about that, because he's just there and he's got his suit on and he's doing his thing. It's like it's so him. I used to love, because he didn't live too far from me, I used to love running into him. We both were walkers, and he started walking earlier and earlier because he was getting up earlier and earlier, so I wasn't up at 4 a.m.
Oh, man.
But we like to talk about that, and he and I both did the same things, like we'd pick garbage while we were going along the way,
that's lovely.
or if we saw things, we'd be calling public works. Yeah, so, but those are things that, and then sometimes his jokes were, because they're dry, and he'd even say it in public, and it was like, that was hilarious. Oh my gosh. And because he's not usually that way, he was very reserved in the public, very proper, that when he did do it, it was extra funny,
That's right.
Yeah, so I loved that about him. I love that bit of humor. And also I admired about him his relationship with his beautiful wife, who passed away 4 years ago. And Betsy was a fine first lady of the city, and he wasn't the same after that, of course. He
Yeah.
lost the love of his life.
Right.
And I like to think now that they're together again because he missed her so much.
What a wonderful thought.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing your memory. That's
Yeah.
a wonderful memory.
Yes.
As a transition from one mayor to the other. Right?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
It's also difficult because when I thought about it, okay, I'm going to take over office, that he would be there. So I could call him and say, Harry, what about this? And he's not. I still talk to him. And I try to tell him, I'm trying not to embarrass you. Because we're so different,
Right.
just very different. But he expected that when he called me to congratulate me, finally, when the numbers were pretty solid. I told him, I started crying, and I said, I feel some sadness, and he said, well, don't be sad. And I said, well, I am, because, this is end of an era.
Right.
I've been a councilwoman for 14 years, which is a long time, but it's always been under you as mayor. So I only have you. Now, I used to be a journalist for 20 years, so I covered a lot of local government, from schools to everything.
Right.
And so I saw other mayors and how they acted, but of course, sitting next to Harry for 14 years, that's what you know.
Yes, yes.
And, he left things, of course, undone. And so staff has been wonderful about finding everything and getting me to the places where he was going to go.
To continue.
Yeah, to continue what he had already made plans for. So I'm doing that, plus, looking at where we want to go, because we have a lot of work to
Yes.
do. There are a lot of people suffering in Fairfield, and especially with the downturn in the economy, the inflation up. We have people who are hungry, who are trying to decide between medicine and food. And so, I am working very closely. We've got 3 women on the Board of Supervisors now. I'm very close to 3 of them.
Yes.
And so I think we're going to be in good shape here overall.
Yeah. As we kind of do transition from one era to another.
Yes.
And begin to look forward into what the future would hold.
Right.
What are some of your priorities going forward as mayor that you kind of want to tackle over the next year to 4 years?
Yes. So obviously, one of the biggest things that impacts everybody, unless you don't have a soul, and that is homelessness.
True.
And so what is that? I think, have been approaching it, not us just here, but in the United States, improperly. And it goes back a long ways to when we just did not fund mental health services,
Exactly,
okay?
yes.
It's gone back a long time. And then when George W. Bush came into office, he started pushing what's called housing first. And what that is the concept of it makes all the sense in the world. There is no barrier for getting somebody into housing or into shelter. That makes sense.
Right.
The part that does not make sense is that what Housing First says you cannot demand that, let's say, they take care of themselves. They can stay there if they want to continue using whatever drug. If they are using drugs, they can continue doing that. And so, and then the other thing is that if you are suffering from some type of mental illness, and a lot of people are in the country, you don't have to get treatment for that. You don't have to help. So what they found is, and I study this so much because I'm just really into this issue because of the inhumanity. It makes me sick.
Yeah.
Physically ill to see people out there, and I get out.
Yes.
I always get out and help as much as I can. But once you get somebody into the Housing First situation, they only last, on average, a year and a half. If
go back to the
they go back to the streets, they go back to using, if they stopped, usually they haven't. And I know how difficult that is when you're obsessed by something. Like I used to be super obsessed by food. Like if I got nervous about everything, I still do some of that. But that's a whole different type of addiction, but it's unhealthy as well.
Yeah.
you go back to it if you're not reminded all the time. So when you talk about wraparound services, that's what you're talking about. What you really need is somebody there full-time.
Right.
I know that from working in that. So that's a big issue. And I sat down and talked with every one of my colleagues on the city council. None of them supported me when I ran for mayor. They all supported Mayor Price.
Right.
And I wanted them to understand that we may come at things differently, but we want the same things. I know because I've been sitting next to them for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm there to help them. We have 6 districts in town. They all have different flavors, if you will, different personalities, each district. And so they're the experts in the district. So they need to come to me and say, I need this. And I'm going to put it on the agenda. It used to be that we'd have to sit up and say, could somebody second me so I could get this on the agenda? And I told my colleagues, we don't need to do that. Just come to me. I'll put it on the agenda. Why not just talk about it? Anybody.
Yes.
And I said, I need them to help me too, because I want the same things that they want. We have, again, all different approaches.
And respecting each one and taking the great ideas from each person, right? And then bringing that to.
It's fabulous.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's fabulous.
To making our city better. That's
It's
great.
so fabulous. And they all agreed that that's a great way to work about it. And I told them, if you have something that you need to say to me about how I've acted, what I've done, please tell me. Tell me now.
Yeah.
Because I sat down with them
That's
for at least an hour
important, isn't
each.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me now, and then we'll talk about it. And if I have something which I don't, I said, look, I prayed about this, and I put everything behind me. We're on the same team, all of us.
And it's moving forward.
And we're
right?
going
Yes.
forward now, so whatever, I'm not going to sit and dwell on it. We have to do this together. And it's a whole different job than as a councilwoman. Councilwoman, I could be a bomb thrower.
Yeah.
I could say, oh, no, I don't think so. That kind of stuff. As mayor, I'm there to listen
Right.
from everybody, from the community and my colleagues,
Right.
who again are the experts in their districts.
Right.
I'm there to help them.
So on that note, since
Yes.
you were on city council for a few terms, and
Yeah.
now you're not on city council,
Right.
leading it. What has that transition been like, and maybe the big differences in the role when it comes to being the council member and now you're a mayor?
Right.
What have you seen that's different, and how has that changed your perspective maybe on governance?
A lot. It's hugely different. I set the agenda, which means literally whatever's on the agenda, I've either okayed it or put it there. And that's why I said to my colleagues, because I didn't want to be in that position. It was very uncomfortable as a councilwoman, and I didn't like it. I mean, I could always get a second, but I felt like we were doing something in the public that we didn't need to.
Right.
Yeah.
We all were equal, so can't we act like equal human beings?
That's a lovely perspective to take.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
because it was uncomfortable as a council person. So, and there were other things that made me uncomfortable as a council person. And it mostly had to do with that, with what we know is like free speech, what we know as, being able to talk in the public about a real issue when others may not want to, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. Now, as mayor, I'm not going to sit there and say, excuse me, no, because that would be outrageous. So I'm having to learn to some of this, and if I have something to say, I will talk to my colleagues later.
Yeah.
They're my colleagues. I can't work without them.
Yes.
And
And they can't work without you, and we need all of you together to work for us, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and we can't go off on these. I could go off on crazy tangents. Like I used to be angry that maybe they wouldn't listen to me, and I thought, well, I must be approaching it wrong. So there's a lot of that going on, a lot of growing over 14 years. And now I know I'm ready to do this now because I can look at it that way and say,
May I ask a question?
Yes.
In terms of, so you work with your colleagues, what is the mayor's relationship with the city manager? Like, how does that, I've always wondered that. Like, how does a mayor work in relationship with the city manager?
Right. So this, in our type of government, general city, is that we have a city manager position. and in other cities, you'll have what's called a strong mayor. And so a strong mayor is somebody who does really what a city manager does. I mean, they run everything day to day. They do all the hiring of the managers. As me, the only ones that the city council and I hire is the city attorney and the city manager. And so if we don't like how something's going on, we go to them and say, we need to talk to you. And, and we'll all talk to them just like you do with any employee.
Right.
And they know that it only takes 4 for them to be gone. And it sounds terrible, but they know what they're doing when they take that job.
Right.
Yeah.
I would never work as a city manager. I would not want to work for 7 politicians.
Now, do you think the strong mayor system is better, or is the council mayor a better form?
Yes, which do you
one?
I actually think that our city's almost ready for a strong mayor. Maybe in the next 10, 20, I don't know. It's the size sometimes, and it's also because we are part of the Bay Area, and a lot of the Bay Area cities, Oakland, San Francisco, they have strong mayors.
A lot of the big cities.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I think San Jose
it's
as
the
well
more,
does.
the cities out in the outskirts.
Yes,
and the
are
suburbs
more-
tend to be
And
fascinating.
and so here's the part that I do like about the strong mayor, is that the residents, sometimes, they get frustrated because they don't understand that, for instance, that even though I work full-time as the mayor, but some don't in these things because, well, you don't get paid much. But besides that, the truth is that they can't tell a department head, you need to go do this. If I believe that somebody needs to do something, I go to the city manager and say, can I talk to you about this? This is what I'm seeing happen, and can we talk to him about that? And then we do. I usually won't sit down with the department head at all. I always tell the city manager I'd like to sit down with the police chief and talk about what's happening, out there. So that's different. What I think is not good about the city managers, this type of thing, is that voters don't have any direct sway over the person who's making day-to-day.
That's right.
And so if they did, let's say I was a strong mayor now, and I'm not, if I were, if the citizens said, we just don't like that at all, whatever you're doing, we're done with you, they can take you out of office, they can recall you,
can vote you
and then
out,
you'll get a new mayor.
Right.
And so there's that part. So I go back and forth on them, on it. But I do like the idea, because this government belongs to the people, that they should be able to remove the decision maker.
Because they elected them, right? Yeah.
They elected
Absolutely.
you, and they can take you out.
Yeah.
Just like your mom says, right? I brought you into the world,
Or
I can
take
take
you
you out.
Now that you're the mayor, and seeing, you've been a city council member, now that you're a mayor, seeing the city from a whole different perspective.
It is.
What would you like to see, where would you like to see our city go?
Yes.
In the
Well,
future, in terms of building relationships we have a lot of Gen Zers now, right?
we have a lot of Gen
And,
Zers.
and just the mixture of our community.
It is.
So and you as a mayor, building those relationships, how do you plan to continue to build all of those relationships among the different generations?
Yes, that is one of the most difficult things. What I do like to do is actually the younger ones. I'll go to the PAL Center a lot, but as you know, as anybody around here knows, a lot of young people do not go there, and especially those. I talk a lot to people that age, and I've asked them to help me. What I want to do is go to where they are. During the campaign, I asked people to invite me over to their house, and then we'd have, sit down, and they'd bring neighbors or family over.
Wonderful.
That's what I want to do with the young people. I don't know how, but I'm reaching out to principals
Yes.
and asking them, is there a group? Are these, these young people? I always talk to the young people that we bring in.
Yes.
When we bring in for the youth commission.
Right.
And I am going to elevate their impact.
Right.
What I mean is I want to start assigning them some things. They always come with great ideas.
Yes, how
They
lovely.
come, and the last round, because I've always interviewed them except for 2 years since it was one of my favorite things was talking with these young people. Smart,
Yes,
you know
yes,
this.
yes.
You know this, both of you are in education.
Yes.
but at a very young age, they know what's going on. During the last interviews, I asked each of them, do you see any issues around the city, maybe not necessarily in your school? Yes, it's dirty.
Yes.
Yeah.
To every single one of them.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, do you think that if I asked you all to come up with a way that you think that we could take care of the entire city, that you guys might come up with some things? So I'm going to, yes, they're going to do that, and I want them to come more regularly to the meetings to talk with us.
That's wonderful.
I mean, to tell us
Oh
what
my
they're
gosh.
doing,
Yes.
and to tell us, we need you to do this because you're missing the boat.
Yes.
I love them.
I would love to have you come to the tours when we go on tours to the campuses.
Oh,
To
I'd
come
love
and meet
to.
them, because they would love to meet their mayor. I think
Oh,
they
my
should
gosh.
learn, right? Because we all live here, and these young people are going to grow up and vote. And so if they know who represents them, they have a better understanding, a better informed when they do go to vote.
I would love to go on those tours. Please
Thank
invite
you.
me.
I will invite you.
I during the campaign, I talked to. I would go around to different schools for different things. But anyway, I was out at one, and this they were talking about you're running for mayor. What's the difference between those great questions. And this little girl, she was so cute. And she must have been, I'd say 10.
Yes.
And she said, can a girl be mayor? And I thought, I'm missing the boat here. I was only the 6th councilwoman ever at the city to be elected. And I haven't gone out so these people can see that they're represented, these young girls.
Yes.
It hit me like a block on my head. I have not represented well, and others. And so I asked my other colleagues who are female, or people of color, different things. We need it all.
Yes.
We are a community
Good.
Yeah.
that is the most diverse
Yes.
in the country.
That's right.
And we
I saw a
speak
post about
more
that recently,
languages. More languages.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a very difficult thing because we have a lot of folks who speak Hmong. I mean, it's all, and we don't, there aren't very many people in leadership who do that.
Yes.
We need to see, like our former police chief said, Deanna.
Yes.
Great chief.
Yes. I
Great
liked her
chief. Oh.
a lot. She was wonderful.
Oh, she was
so
great.
sad to see her go.
I know,
Yes.
it's horrible.
To retire, yeah.
Yeah, she needed to, but she always said, you know what, seeing is believing. And so I told that girl, that child, I said, I gave her my card and I gave her my personal cell phone number. And I said, I hope we don't get in trouble for this. Give this to your parents. And then if I become mayor, you call me and I'm going to come visit you. And she's called. And so I wondered, I'm going to bring her down and let her, do what she wants. I'll let her be mayor for the day or something. That's something
That's a
that I'm
great
working
idea,
on.
Because,
Mayor of the
in the
day.
districts, they do
You saw it?
principal of the day.
Yeah.
And have a mayor of the day. That's
I would
lovely.
like to, maybe you guys have some feedback for this. I want to invite all ages who are students,
Yes.
right? To either write essays, or if they're younger and they don't write fluently yet, maybe draw pictures
Yes.
of why they'd like to be mayor and send them in, and then have a
Oh, my
committee of people that
gosh.
check it, and then we'll make them mayor for a day.
Yes.
And let them do the
Well,
whole
they can
thing.
do little videos because children grow up with
Oh,
it.
that-
right?
oh,
I wanna be
there
mayor
you
of the day
go.
Because,
Yeah.
See, and then we'll have
kids.
community folks like you
Yes.
choose, and then that
Just to be mayor for a day.
yeah, they'll be mayor for a day, and we'll do it like
wonderful.
every quarter, I think.
That's a great way to grow our community and get young people involved.
That's really,
You know?
thank
Thank
you,
you.
I'm
You could
glad.
have one
Yes.
for each day. Excuse me. One for each day, and then just delegate the mayor
There you
duties.
go, there you
Just
go.
go.
And I'm at home with my feet up saying, go get it, kids, let's go, yes.
You walk behind them with a pad, okay?
Yes, a very good check, check.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I've been thinking of those kind of things to help people come in.
Yeah.
And sadly, I don't speak multiple languages. I'm Hispanic, half, and my grandparents didn't speak English. But my dad, because he was darker skinned, I look like I yodel, I know that, darker skinned, he was not treated, and the last name was Perez, was not treated well in this town when he was young. And he was a field worker.
You get people from different cultures, you can always get somebody from the community who speaks
Yes.
is bilingual and can translate, because they're where you build them up. You know,
Yes.
somebody who speaks Tagalog and English, somebody
Yep.
who speaks Fijian and English, somebody who speaks, you know, Spanish.
That's,
and
I'm going to put a
English.
call
There you
out
go,
because
yeah.
I also want American Sign Language person to be at the meetings.
Yes, that's a brilliant idea. Solano College, we have a
Yeah,
great professor.
I'll need to
in their
check
classes.
in.
Yes, yeah, that's.
Because those doors need to be open too.
Yes,
People
yes.
don't feel like they can come to
Yes.
government with their issues. And people, as a councilwoman, I got asked a lot, because my big deal is always working, helping whoever it is that calls. But, you know, the police would ask and others would ask, well, why are they calling you about that and not us? I said it could be because they know me on social media. I mean, I
And you
get
do
about
respond.
20 to 30
Yes.
inquiries a day. So that's a lot to answer, and I push that stuff over to staff, but I always respond to the people and tell them. And I said, but you need to be more like that in the police department, and we need to be more like that in public works.
yes.
There has to be some of that outward bringing in. It's the only way. I mean, when I grew up here in Fairfield, my mom, I remember, would always, and she was one of the first women business owners in downtown in bookkeeping back in the 60s.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so, but what was interesting about her was that she, even though she never wanted to be a politician, she was very kept up with everything. And in those days, you could just, you know, you knew who everybody was.
Right.
Now we've got to be 120,000 people, and it's huge. And so some people don't know at all anybody
And
who's.
that's why that's such a good idea to go to them, because people are working full-time.
Yes.
We have single parents who work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And they can't go to city council meetings.
No, they can't.
They can't go to school board meetings. They can't go to board of supervisors meetings because they're in the daytime.
Yes.
So that's a brilliant idea to go to them. Like, I always liked the coffee with cop.
I love that.
That was great. You know, and having the children come out and be mayor over the day.
Yeah.
They go and tell their parents.
They do.
What they did.
They do.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Oh my
and the other
gosh.
big thing that we're
Connect
kicking off
communities.
next month,
Yeah.
the vice mayor is Pam Bertani. I chose her because she had experience as vice mayor,
Right.
and she's a good thinker. She's a good
Yes.
thinker, and she and I have been meeting regularly every 2 weeks or every week. We talk all the time, and we are kicking off a tour that'll start next February,
Outstanding.
and we're going to every neighborhood. And we're inviting along with us, if we're in, you know, whatever district we are, for that council person to be with us. And we are going to sit down and just let people.
Is there a schedule for
What
this
a
tour?
brilliant
I have the first date
Okay.
up, but I can send that over to you guys. Yes, we'll be putting that out,
Okay.
and the city will be putting it out. And
What's the first neighborhood that you're going to be going to?
we are going to be down on East Tabor.
Okay.
Lovely.
Yes, and we will have people there who speak Spanish, and I'm hoping Tagalog as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And it will be at,
Is there
a church?
A date for this now?
yeah, I think it's the 17th.
Okay.
Of February or
Yeah,
January?
February.
Okay.
What a great idea.
Yeah, so we talked about that. I said, look, we need to go out into these districts so everybody knows that we're looking at them and we want to hear from them. And we have to go out and touch people.
Yeah.
The same way you do when you're going out to knock on doors and let them know it doesn't matter. I don't care where you live. I don't care what language you are. You're a boss. That's what I like to tell
Yes.
people. They
You're
are
a
our
boss.
boss.
Yes.
So don't. I tell
so
kids
glad
that. I
you
said,
say
you know
that."
you're my boss.
Right.
And they look.
Yes.
Yeah, but
and
it's
then when you explain it to them, they go,
yeah, they're gonna
"Oh,
see
yes."
you because you guys, your mom and dad, you know,
Yes.
they pay taxes.
Yes.
Well, your family's paying taxes. You're my boss, so you can
Yes.
tell me.
Oh, I love
And I got
that.
young people, actually high schoolers, told me about some things that they needed done, and we're getting them done, including lights at a solar light at a basketball court so they can play at night.
brilliant.
Yeah, those kind of
Yes.
things. So, yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, I have a lot of things going, and I'm also working with mayors from around the country because I joined the National Conference of Mayors, And so I have a seat with the big mayors, and we are trying to work together on trying to push a different policy. This for homelessness, for a start, and see if we can do some things to get a lot of money for mental health. So nobody goes without mental health care if you need to see somebody.
Do you want the cities to be having their own programs, or with the county
running
their own program?
I want the county to. This is going to be it's going to be a full push from all levels.
Okay.
I know that sounds like I'm pushing up, but these are my colleagues in other cities. I met them when I went back to school at Harvard. I got to go. I was chosen. I was a lucky duck.
How cool is
Yeah, and met these folks. And yesterday we have class all year. And it's been one of the things that when I get really nervous and upset, I know that I can reach out to any of these others. The Oakland mayor is particularly sweet.
What about the mayors in our county, like the Benicia mayor, the Vallejo mayor, Suisun?
Suisun
right?
City,
And then
oh, yes.
Who else is right in our county?
Dixon,
and Vacaville?
Rio Vista.
Rio Vista. So there are 7 of you mayors. Do you
Yes.
are you guys going to meet? Are you mayors, right? I should say, going to meet regularly and
Yep.
discuss, our communities?
We are. We, in
Because
fact,
we all blend in.
we
work
all.
at different places, in each other's cities.
Oh,
and all that,
absolutely. And when you do something in this city, let's say Fairfield, let's say we, do some things with homeless, some leave here and will go to Suisun City or Vacaville to get away from what we're doing. And so you impact others, is what I'm saying. So it's all hands on deck. Last night was my first meeting at the Solano Transportation Authority. All the mayors sit on that.
That's
so
great. Oh,
we sat and had a little dinner ahead of time, some chili beans, and then tonight we have the Solano County Water Agency. All the mayors are there, so we work a lot
wonderful.
together,
Excellent.
and a couple of other things too. But then we also, for instance. I know Vanden Road and all that is a real mess out there, and we just had a death.
You opened that can of worms.
Okay, I know.
I am waiting for that thing to be built out. We have a bridge, a street.
And
Don't
nothing in
connect.
between. So last night, you'll be happy to know, at the Solano Transportation Authority,
Yeah.
2 folks came out. One was a coach, I believe, at Vanden,
Okay.
and then there was a mother who came, and they live in Vacaville, but the STA takes care of the whole county, right? So they came to us and they said, no more. We've had somebody just die. Actually, 4 people have died along that road.
On that stretch of Peabody?
Yeah, Vanden, and that around by one lake, and then.
Yes.
So last night, we put the heat on, and I said, they'll get used to that. That part of me won't go away. I can't take it out of me. No, let's talk real.
Yeah.
We're not going to wait till the houses are built. We're going to get money. We just got $4 million from the feds, so we got that.
To develop that.
To do that stretch, and I said, no more. And so I said, this has to be a priority, and it wasn't just me, it was also the new Vacaville mayor, he's a very nice man, and Mitch Mashburn, who's the supervisor.
Right.
And I said, look, if we need to go back east and go talk to them, let's get on a plane. Because this is something that's so serious.
Yeah.
Kids are late to school every day. Do you know what that does to them? Yes, you do. This is your district.
Yeah.
And it's not like we have school buses to take all the students back and forth.
I
to
know we
school,
don't.
right?
And so the
Exactly.
parents are there, and, kids are getting stomach aches because they're late. They're not,
And they don't get to eat
No,
breakfast.
the whole
Exactly.
thing's a mess.
And then they don't do as well in school because they're hungry. Then they get hangry.
So, the hangry part, I know that part. But I try to eat before council meeting, so that doesn't happen. Oh, no.
Oh, we want to thank you so much.
Oh, you
for-
guys.
And then, it'd be great to come back here maybe once
I would
every
like-
few
I'd like to
months.
come.
Yeah, because you are mayor.
would-
This is what we did. The city
You
did as a
you
member of
did-
the council, and now you're the mayor.
Look
You get
at
to
this.
see.
It's
Right.
so
And it's working
neat.
with our students.
Oh, it's-
Constantly,
Yeah.
Man.
And so I'll be talking to both of you offline too about some of the ideas that I talked to you about. I have a lot more. But we're on the right track. My team, because that's who we are. I like to call my team, but it's our team.
Yes.
It's the city's team.
Yes.
And we are all moving forward together.
Yeah.
We are determined. And also, I'll just have to say this, since it's the first time that the city of Fairfield has a majority of women,
Yes.
we're going to show how it's done.
Absolutely.
There we go.
And anything we can do to help
Oh,
you.
thank you.
You represent all of us. You are our mayor.
Thank
So
you,
whatever we
Anna.
can do to help you be successful, let us know, because your success is our success.
Yeah.
Is our community success. Is Fairfield's success.
Thank
and
you.
We're Fairfield strong.
Yeah, we are
Thank you.
Fairfield Strong.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
So I know we had a kind of, we were trying to get this on the books for a little bit, so thank you for your time,
Oh.
for coming in and talking to us and kind of
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts about what's going to be happening in the future in the city of Fairfield.
I'm
The
excited.
mighty Moy.
Oh, well, yeah.
There you go, the mighty Mayor Moy.
Yeah.
How about that?
Anna, thank you. for
Anna, thank you.
co-hosting.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Manveer.
thank you all for watching today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the conversation with Cat Moy. We want to definitely thank Solano College Studio for giving us time to use their studio. And with that, catch you at the next one.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Celia Esposito Noy. Thanks for watching the Solano College Sports Network.